Hi, everybody, and
Hi.
to our first PTSO meeting of the year. I wanted to thank everybody for being here. And first, I'd like to thank our previous president, Brian Caranda, for his wonderful leadership for the past 2 years and for helping this meeting with me. And I would like to thank all the faculty and staff for everything that they're doing to keeping our doors open, and for my wonderful PTSO crew. And I'm Tina Carmona, this year's president. I have 2 daughters in PTSO at Parker, one in middle school and one in lower school. And I would like to go ahead and introduce Carrie Ann, our VP.
Hi, aloha. I'm Carrie Ann Chen, 2020 Vice President for PTSO. I have a 3rd grader and a 2nd grader here, and I love PTSO collaborating and enhancing the spirit of the school. And yeah.
And Beth, would you like to, or actually, yeah, you want to go down? We have enough time to go down the, do you think, or
Okay.
the board. Brian, what do you think? The board. So Beth, do you
Okay.
want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Beth Goldsmith. I have 2 daughters in the 7th and 5th grade. I'm the treasurer and happy to help any way I can.
Great, thank you. And Dawn is our secretary, and Carrie Ann is taking her place for today. So first, we're going to go ahead and get on with the treasurer's report, if Beth has anything to report.
Well, we were just trying to finalize our budget when we were speaking last, so I don't know how much we want to talk about that, but oops, now I can't see anybody. But we've had no expenses so far. We're just finalizing the budget, trying to see how much money we have to work with.
All right, great, thank you. And next is Jolene Head, our teacher appreciation. Thank you so much, Jolene, for stepping into this role.
Hi, I'm Jolene Head. So I've been the middle school parent for the last couple of years, representative, and then this year I'm doing teacher appreciation. My understanding is we have a couple of events coming up. Do you want me to talk about this now?
Sure.
Okay. Or I can just introduce myself. Hi. I have a daughter, Elena Head. She's in the 8th grade. My son, Connor, graduated from Parker in 2018. But we do have an event coming up next week. We have the, teachers conferences. And so normally we would provide a teacher appreciation lunch where parents and everybody could contribute to that. But because of COVID, we're not able to do that. So I've come up with an option that will suffice for that. I think our budget is a little bit higher for that this year than it's been in years previous. So we're going to try to stretch it as far as we can and still make it nice with the considerations that we have for COVID.
Great, thank you. And I also forgot to mention that we are recording, so to let everyone know, just in case people are missing it and want to.
And you know what, since you just mentioned that luncheon, and we had, I don't know if you saw the final amount we had appropriated, which was, I think we upped it to $1,000 the last time we talked, after talking to head of school. So in hopes that it would be spent on luncheons, hopefully several times for the teachers. So I don't know, I'm sorry, we should communicate.
Yeah, so I did some research. I had asked originally a month or so ago now about anybody that had allergies or, dietary restrictions and some stuff. I had asked for any of the teachers to reach out to me. I don't think that has happened. So unfortunately, we have to try to stick to a smaller menu because I don't know what people's dietary restrictions are. I would have no idea if I did a bunch of musubi or I did a bunch of peanut butter jelly or whatever. Sack lunch kind of thing. Somebody doesn't eat meat, or there's entirely too many variables. So what I've decided to do is do it more like a snack bar. So healthy snacks, you know, apples and oranges and granola bars and chips and, you know, just a bunch of different things. And so what I'm going to do is just bring up baskets, and then they can just kind of come through, take what they want. And that way we don't have to worry about any of the dietary restrictions. And then hopefully by the next event that we have for them, where we're doing this, that we'll have a better understanding of kind of who can eat what, or what that kind of needs to look like. I looked at the possibility of catering it. I looked at the possibility of just having 65 individually wrapped musubis. And it gets very costly very quickly.
Sure.
I think the thing that we've always really relied on for teacher appreciation is donations from parents. But we can't do that this year. So, you know, normally we would have like a taco themed teacher appreciation, and everybody would bring something from a list. And, you know, and that's kind of how we did that. Unfortunately, because it's pretty much going to be solely reliant on PTSO and those funds, and we need to make $1,000 stretch throughout the year, we're going to have to adjust a little bit. You know, I know previously they only had a $400 budget for this, which doesn't seem like much compared to 1,000. But when you're looking at the fact that it was the generosity of our Ohana collectively coming together and putting that event on and providing those items, I think it really changes that trajectory a little bit. So for this time, I'm going to try to stick to pretty even keel, that everybody kind of pick and choose what they want. I thought we could have a big cooler with some drinks, you know, just some basics. And then the next time we do this, hopefully we'll have a better understanding of what people can and cannot eat. And that'll give us a better idea of what we can and cannot provide.
Just out of curiosity, when you're doing your research, is $500, because we had kind of said, oh, $500 split, even though that does seem like a stretch to me to feed all those people on $500.
So
is it possible
average,
or not really?
It's possible, depending on how nutritious you'd like that meal.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can certainly do things like PB&Js and musubis and things like that. A bag of chips, an apple, a bottle of water. Comes out to about $7 per person times 65. So, you know, so it eats that budget up really, really quickly. What I was thinking, and I looked into Costco, like doing the trays of like the croissant sandwiches, which we can totally do because they can cut them in half, and then you've got this big tray that goes a long way. And you know, you can get one of those great big trays for, I think it was about $55. And that would feed, you know, about 30 people. So, you know, for, you know, $110, you could get those. The problem with that is meat and cheese, and there's a whole bunch of components that come with that. And certainly people wouldn't have to take that item. The other problem is they're not individually wrapped. So if you bring out a big tray of food and then you have a whole bunch of people touching it, this is where you have these problems. So then you're coming back to individually wrapped items. And then I looked at like, how much does a box of Uncrustables cost? Maybe everybody's getting a sandwich. You know, I was at Costco for an extended period of time. But, you know, so then it was like, okay, what if we have somebody with a peanut allergy? So, you know, there's a lot of variables to this. And I think, you know, where in past events, people could really pick and choose what they wanted to eat based on what was available. Or if they chose not to eat, they could do that too. You know, and pack their own sandwiches and stuff. And I'm sure people will still do that. They may not be able to partake in some of these things either, but I was trying to just come up with a solution that was kind of a shotgun approach of how we can kind of feed everybody, at least give somebody a little bit of something, you know, for this next period, and then hopefully recalibrate and see exactly what that might look like and what those allergies and, you know, dietary issues might be, so that we have a better understanding. And then hopefully the next event that we could do something different. And I have a bunch of other ideas for teacher appreciation too. So, you know, we can chat about that later, but this is kind of, I think, the approach that we should take this time, just because we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants, and we do have such a delineated set of guidelines that we have to stay within, that, you know, this can accommodate all of that.
Okay, well, if you need any help, I'm happy to help, because I know that's a lot of work for one person.
I've got an 8th grader. I can put her to work. She can get paid. It's fine. Thank you, though.
Okay. Or any money, you know, considerations.
Jolene, COVID certainly makes this much more complicated, and I appreciate all the hard work to kind of make it work. My wife happened to be to someone whose business is providing meals for the airlines, and so can scale to creating a lot of individually wrapped meals. I don't know what their costs are, but I know that I don't pay a whole lot when I get my cheese platter on Alaska Airlines, so they might be able to do something for us. I'll send that, and maybe it's just to hold on to as a. But I'll get that contact information and send it to you to maybe investigate.
Okay, well, and something like that would be great. Again, it comes back to dietary restrictions. If you're having to, you know, if you have somebody that's vegan, or you have all of these things, right? There's all of these options, and so making sure that we know, okay, we need 5 vegan meals, or we need, you know, 6 non-dairy, or whatever that looks like. That's kind of where I'm coming from, is just understanding where and why and how we do that within that conformity.
And I haven't seen too many extreme constraints. I haven't heard of anybody that's vegan. Certainly, there are some folks that prefer vegetarian. I don't know whether that's dietary.
Okay.
But yeah, we can look and see. I just want to put that up source, because I thought
that sounds great. I mean, the more resources we have, the better.
Yeah, a low cost alternative that I wouldn't have as an option, and wouldn't have known how to get in touch with them. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right. We do have a fundraising position available, but Brian and I talked about probably keeping that open, because that was more geared to logo wear. And this year, probably Miley doesn't need too much help with that. So, but the position is available if anyone's interested. Next, we have Ohana grants. Would Jess like to speak about it?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi. So I'm Jessie. My son is Ethan. He's a 7th grader. So I know that with everything going on, we got the Ohana grants. We wanted to get them out prior to fall break, but we figured with everything going on, it would be better just to let everyone kind of simmer down, have a nice relaxing break, and then come back. Our Ohana are both for teachers as well as parents wanting to set up, looking to get some sort of funding from PTSO for either clubs or what is the word? Sorry, I have a newborn, so I'm a little tired. She was up most of the night. So yes. So are there any questions?
I can add a little bit to that. I'm helping Jess with this. Since the person who did Ohana grants last year is away from the school for a year, so I'm stepping in and kind of helping Jess. So yes, the Ohana grants went out yesterday to faculty and staff. There is an application process that we have open for a couple of weeks where faculty and staff, and actually we'll be putting it in next week's web flash if any parents are interested also, where faculty and staff can fill out an application requesting funds to maybe start a club, an after school activity. Teachers can use it for extended learning, or if they need something specialized in the classroom. Sometimes parents have suggested items like bike racks or art materials or things like that. So we've had good responses the last couple of years, and we're lucky to be able to offer that again. So basically the application process runs for a couple of weeks, then we collect them all. There's a Ohana Grants Committee that meets, and we kind of sit down and figure out exactly what we can fund for the fall session. And then all things going well, we'll also plan to do that also in the spring.
Thank you. So does anybody have any more questions about Ohana grants? Okay. Our school representatives are next. I don't think Elaine's here. Brian, is she?
Yeah, she is.
She is? Hi, Elaine. Oh, there you are. Hi. Do you have anything to report to us?
She's got to unmute.
Oh.
I got it. Sorry. Hi, I'm Elaine. I have two kids, one in 6th grade and one in 3rd grade. This year at lower school is a little bit different, I think. Well, I don't think. It is a little bit different. So I have to talk to Heather and see what she needs my assistant with, because I can't really do a lot of the programs that we used to do for the kids because it's a lot of contacting. So I will have to get with Heather and probably see what she needs my help with in the lower school, and my assistant, you know, what she needs the parent to help out with. I know it's a little bit limited right now. But that's it from my end.
All right. Thank you, Elaine.
Yeah.
Do we have Kathy here today?
I do not see her.
Okay. So we'll skip middle school.
I can kind of.
You have some information?
Well, I can do, since I have a middle schooler and an upper schooler, so I can do both.
All right.
No, I think as far as a middle school and upper school report, everything seems to be going great. I want to thank Coach Dunnigan. He puts all the activities out for parents that have driven by, or that he puts a lot of activities out during the day for the kids to be able to do when they're outside. Volleyball and basketball and kickball and jump ropes and just all kinds of activities to keep them kind of moving around. And the kids seem to love all those games. As far as stuff that's going on, I know like Dramatiques is kind of in the thick of it right now. They're working on their fall play, which is going to be Clue, the movie Clue. I have both a middle schooler and an upper schooler in that, so they are constantly at home giving us the lines from the movies back and forth. And what else? I know debate was added again this weekend. They had a debate tournament that was actually in Missouri, so on Central Time. So most of those debaters were up at 2:30 in the morning, and they had to be ready to debate by 3 a.m. And it went all day long. So it was kind of, it was a long, hard day for them, but they did great, and a lot of new people got a chance to try out debate and so forth. So I know clubs are going well, and yeah, that's kind of the middle school and upper school report. If anyone else has any comments.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Also basketball. They've got basketball going. Coach D for middle school, and I'm excited to see volleyball going for middle school. I was hoping something could happen for lower school, but I know that's probably incredibly more challenging to do any of that, but really appreciate them Coach D getting those sports programs going.
Yep.
And lower school has hip hop. So Zoe,
that's true.
Zoe's in that. And so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, to be in that. Thank you for getting our little ones in the hippity hop. And then there's tennis with
oh, that's right.
Buff. Yep.
Yeah, Buff. Yeah. My other daughter's in that one. So she's gonna start next week. So she's super excited. Great. Does anybody else have anything to add about upper and middle? All right, moving on to our head of schools report, to Stephen Dunn. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for all you're doing as well. So it is great to see everybody's face this morning. I will go through my report. There is a student issue that is occupying both Brandon and Michaela. So if they're able to join at some point, they will. Otherwise, I can cover their reports in my time. So just wanted to recap a little bit. Thank you for everyone who was on the Zoom calls before the break. It was a good time to connect and to hear from, well, to provide some information to each division about what's been going on during the year. It was great to see, 50 or so people per division. So it was nice to make those connections and at least touch base again, since we hadn't done that since the summer. Campus is really active. I will add to Brian's thanks to Coach D. The mornings are really active around, at least in the upper and middle school campus. There are some really competitive games of Foursquare that go on in the morning. And you'll see kind of any, students are really kind of taking advantage of that, the late start, to be on campus, to be active, to wake up a little bit, and then get to class to really engage. So when I asked around campus if that was typical in previous years, it has not been. Campus has not been quite as active in the morning. Of course, lower school starts a little bit earlier, and they zip into their classrooms, and so they get started early as well. But campus is really really wonderful and vibrant in the morning. So I know that you're not kind of able to breach the fence to see what's going on, but it really is a great feeling in the morning. We are all returned, most of us returned from the fall break, rejuvenated, and it was incredibly well timed for almost all. Okay, that baby is really distracting, isn't it? Melinda's face, no, it's beautiful. Thank you. I'm watching Melinda's face. It was, I think, incredibly well timed for everyone. I hope that was the case for your family. We spent the Friday before break doing faculty professional learning, which included some self-care and some kind of some discussions around equity of grading, and felt like it was a great investment of our time and a reinforcement to our faculty that they need to also be taking care of themselves during these really stressful times. Teaching to students in class and on the street, it requires a lot of juggling and a lot of effort on their part, and kind of intellectual energy. So we want them to remember to take care of themselves. I want to talk a little bit about testing. We are still working on arranging drive-through testing for all of our families. It is a nasal swab. It is not the deepest nasal swab. It should be pretty quick. I heard from the group that is helping us, and it looks like they can do next Tuesday as an opportunity for families to come through and test. It will be free tests. If you have insurance, please bring your insurance card. Otherwise, it'll be otherwise covered. Those costs will be covered. We just think it's a great opportunity to provide that to our families and to get a sense of what's going on in our community. We're still working to understand how we're going to approach the quarantine as it's changing in the states and in each county. Lots of schools in Hawaii are requiring a test in order to return a test between the 5th and 7th day of returning to the state. And so that's a model that we're looking at and are working with our medical advisors to determine what we'll ultimately put in place, but want to make sure that we're holding firm on the safety of our community. The students I know are eager to have regular activities on campus. Certainly a call for dances, certainly a call for other things that are traditional. And we're really struggling to figure out exactly how we can do those things in a way that maintains our distancing and safety, but look for some events that should be coming up soon to students engage. We will hold our Ohana Day before Thanksgiving. It will be modified. It won't be a chili cook-off, but some event on campus that launches us into the Thanksgiving break. So I will stop there with the hope that maybe, Brandon or Michaela will be able to join us in a little while, but circle back and cover their reports.
Is it okay if I ask you a quick question about the quarantine? If visitors are coming and not staying in the house, are the kids still allowed to attend school? Or do they? Okay.
Yeah. So staying in an ohana separated from
Or in an Airbnb, like a rental?
Yes, of course.
And are the families allowed to come to pick up and drop off in the car with the mask on? Or would you prefer them to stay home?
Yeah. Then they shouldn't be with your students, with your children. Again, I think we're heading towards a second test, a negative test between day 5 and 7, but we'll firm that up for you. So it won't necessarily be the full 14-day quarantine.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I guess we are going to circle back to Brandon with the hopes that he's going to join us and go to Heather with lower school. Thank you so much for keeping our little ones safe and sound.
You're welcome. Well, good morning. It's good to be back and to be here in the PTSO meeting. Yes, the lower school looks a little different than even the upper and middle, but it's working well. We keep our kids in our cohorts, so there isn't the mixing of classes. But here we are, I believe, in our 9th week in school, and the kids have adjusted so well. I mean, they've learned all the new routines and safety protocols, and I truly appreciate the support of you at home too. So things are going very well. Some things that we are offering, listening to Brian and sharing all of the upper and middle school activities, some of the things we've been able to bring to our students after school have been hip hop, which is new. And is led by Candy Dugan, our music teacher. So hip hop to both 4th and 5th. But even that looked a little different. So we need to maintain the cohorts after school. And so it's offered to 4th grade at a certain time and then 5th grade. We've made it work and it seems to be quite successful. We're excited for their thriller dance coming up. And then too, we just finished the first session of Tech Club, which was exciting too, because that was a little different spin as well this year, because First Lego League is not up and running. We've looked at microbits, so it's a whole nother just opportunity for the kids to explore another tech, I guess. And it was led by Jennifer Futrell, so our new tech teacher. So that was very successful, lots of kids attending both a 4th grade session and a 5th grade session. That has since ended. It was a little 3-week session. But other things that we are looking at and starting to prepare for are the holidays. So, Halloween is coming up. I do have a faculty meeting today. We're going to be discussing what that looks like, because I know in past we've had our annual parade where all the families have joined us in costume, and thinking that might have to look a little different, but we do want to maintain some of these traditions. So Halloween, the canned food drive, and our winter concert. So the winter concert, the kids are already singing the songs. And so what we plan to do is we're going to capture it on a movie, and we're going to prepare a set here and so forth and be able to share it with you folks at home. So Candy Dugan, again, is hard at work with the students preparing for that. But again, we won't be able to all gather in the theater as we have in past years for that concert. However, we still want to share it with you. So lots of things already happening around the holiday seasons here. And just a very busy but very joyful place. These kids, it's wonderful. Lots of singing in the morning, lots of, Coach is always out here opening car doors as we're in here doing the health screening, but this morning he had music going, so the kids are, just getting out of those cars and already just eager to come in, and so it's wonderful to be here. And again, thank you for your support.
I had a question about the hip hop. Zoe told me that my daughter Zoe is in the 4th grade. And she told me that you guys are having a performance for hip hop. Is that true?
So they will be performing on October 30th. So it is that Friday right before Halloween. And performing to the lower school. We will capture it on film and video and be able to share it to the parents.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for all you do. Does anybody else have any questions for Heather? Alrighty. It looks like Michaela might join us in a little bit, hopefully. So we'll circle back to her. How about my pleasure to introduce Melinda, our new advancement director.
Thanks for welcoming me, and this is great. It's great to talk with so many involved parents, and I keep looking at speaking of distracting because I get to look out on the lower school that have just had recess. Maybe I can take my camera so you can see how well they follow the rules. It's amazing, and then my office fills with their laughter. It's great. So at Advancement, you know, we're responsible for fundraising for the school to help us, you know, thrive and make sure we have the best facilities and faculty and students, and we have all the resources. We're going to be launching our Parker Fund, which is you know, every independent school does an annual fund, and it's just for general unrestricted funding, which is the most flexible kind of funding we can seek. And so we'll be starting to launch that in the next week or so. So we might have opportunities to ask for help volunteering for stuffing envelopes or those kinds of mailings that we do. I don't have any firm dates or opportunities for that right now. But we do have one opportunity to help the Advancement Office. Part of what falls under Advancement is communications. And so like our social media and press releases and things like that. And one of the things our office handles is the kiosk that's out front on Lindsay Road. We come up with the messages, but if there is someone who is able to commit to a time, you know, every Monday at a certain time to swap out the lettering, we would love that kind of help. Just somebody who's committed to coming on a certain day and swapping out. Again, we would provide the lettering and we provide the message. But the time it takes to take down the letters and put up the letters, you know, we would love to have a volunteer help us with that. So please let me know if you think you could commit to something like that, even if it's not every week, but just, you know, I can only do the first Monday. That's great. Whatever help you can give, we'll be happy to take. The other thing that I shared with Tina is, this is the right time to share it, Tina, the trivia thing. So I had a colleague share I'm not sure how to describe it, like a vendor who runs trivia nights over Zoom. And it's a minimal cost. And I thought, and I shared it with Stephen too, we thought it would be a really great way to, you know, the things that are missing now, right, are this building of community, because we can't really get together in groups and we can't have food together and all the traditional ways of like fall barbecue. So how do we build community? This resource was shared to me as a way to build community with our alumni. But I think it would be really great as a parent night, and we could do it, either open it up to our entire parent ohana or smaller groups of that. But I will share the website in the chat. How's that? And then you all can take a look at it and discuss if it's something that we can offer the school. Let's see, here we go. Anyways, Tina and I were pretty excited about the possibilities of using either this particular outfit, or there must be others like it, but the cost was like $250 to run a 2-hour Zoom trivia night. He manages breakout rooms and does all the questions, and we could put together some sort of swag bag that the winners get if that would be a nice enticement. But I thought this could be something fun we could do to build community with parents. And so that's it. If you folks have any questions about Advancement or our role at the school or how you can get involved, please let me know.
Thank you very, very much for everything that you're doing. And we'll definitely get the news out for your volunteering. Hopefully we'll get somebody to commit and help out.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
And that trivia sounds awesome. So we'll get together and try to figure out how to make that work. And so Brian, did Brandon or Makala come in yet? Not yet. So maybe we should do maybe like the last 10 minutes, do you think?
Yeah, they have not shown up.
And I can cover their reports.
Okay, should we just do that?
Sure. So I'll start with Brandon's in the middle and upper school. This week and next week are a little bit crazy with standardized testing happening on campus. Both this Wednesday is the PSAT. The following Wednesday is the pre-ACT. 9, 10, and 11th grade students take those tests, which take up about half of the day, and then we'll return to our regular schedule. As you know, as you hopefully know, this Friday is also an early dismissal for all divisions, kind of around 12 o'clock, around 12:10, depending on kind of which side of the road you're on for students. So that allows our teachers a little bit of prep time for conferences, which happen at the end of next week. So 3 kind of disrupted weeks in a row with break, standardized testing, and then parent conferences at the end. We've identified a new platform for parent-teacher conferences. You should get news about that this afternoon, and it helps manage all of the video connections and those kinds of things. So it's hopefully will be streamlined. We're working out some of the kinks with that platform, but know that that's we think it's going to work really well, and I guess we'll field test it to know if it's how well it's going to work. We're also investigating, and this is really kind of all school, possibly hosting a flu clinic on campus. We're really concerned about kind of our public health, and one of the pharmacies in town is going to help us host that flu clinic, kind of in the same model as the COVID testing. Insurance should cover the cost of those, but just making it convenient for students and employees to get the flu shot on campus. We're really encouraged by the number of students that are returning in the second quarter after being remote for the first quarter. I know Heather has a huge majority of her students that are returning to campus, and we have a long list of students that are returning in middle and upper school as well. So we just have a pretty modest number of students that are remaining remote. So excited to have them back. They're excited to be back. I saw many of them on Monday as they were checking in at the table outside my office. They're thrilled to be back on campus, and we're excited to have them back. More coming again at the end of the first quarter following conferences. We're following along with BIF, the athletic league, and when we can return to competition. Our students are now doing conditioning. They still haven't made any specific decisions on season start dates or those kinds of things, but we're following along in that and know that that's important for our students to be participating in those sports. So,
Stephen?
Yep.
There was a question put to the group. I just wanted to make sure you saw it. Will class sizes need to be adjusted because of more students being on campus?
Certainly some of the classes will grow a little bit. We're watching that pretty closely to make sure that we have classes in the right spaces, so that we have the distancing. It's more about the number of students fit into the space. So students that are returning to campus are already enrolled in those classes, so they're in our class counts. But Jerry and the safety committee, we're out surveying classrooms to make sure that we're in compliance for our classes. And we may need to move classes. Students shouldn't expect to be moved from one section to the other as part of that rebalancing or any rebalancing activities. So, good question though. Okay. Any other questions about middle and upper school?
I had a question, and this is just it doesn't seem, I don't know, in the possibility of going remote.
Yeah.
I know our children were assigned different cohorts to, if we cycled into school. Is that going to remain the way it was as they were assigned in the beginning of school, or if that happens, is that going to be juggled a little bit?
Our hope was that they would remain constant, but understanding that even our population,
bringing together around, you know, specific identities around gender, ethnicity, you know.
So there could be some movement in that. We'd hope that hope to keep them pretty steady. They were fairly balanced. Part of the effort to balance them also is to keep siblings together, and some families that also cohort bubble together. We tried to keep them at their request together. So we don't want to throw it all up into the air to reassign it. But if there's some need to move slightly for some reasons, I think we can accommodate that.
Stephen, there was a follow-up question. In regards to the two tests, do both tests have to be conducted on island, or can one be pre-boarding and one upon landing, both within 24 hours of each other?
Yeah, our protocol is not set yet, so I'd rather not answer that question. I think that what we'll try to clear that up. We certainly want one test on island after you've been here for a period of time to know that nothing was contracted during the travel period. So, but we'll clear all of that up when we have advice from our medical and safety group. So, okay. We need to do admissions?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Sorry, we just have a student in distress here. So from the admission side, we are at 311 students total enrollment now. We started the year just slightly above 300. We grew very quickly over the summer, from August, and we're excited to be at these numbers. We are watching them very closely to make sure that we have have the schedule that supports them and the classes that they can get into in the right ways as our on-campus population is growing. The admission season has opened. It opened on October 1st, which was about a month earlier than last year. We have a number of completed applications already for the coming year, which is exciting. And families are getting on that. We will be, as you saw in the web flash, we'll be hosting a series of virtual Valina visits, virtual campus visits to welcome prospective families to our campus. We're creating a series of videos which are tours of campus, kind of explanations of programs. We're featuring our students as tour guides. So hopefully it's not the same as being on campus, but hopefully we'll give a sense of what being on campus is like. This is really challenging for all schools to try to figure out how best to present themselves in a virtual way without stepping foot on campus. But I know Michaela and Miley and the communications team, Brian and Krista and Melinda, have put a lot of time into thinking about how we present ourselves online. The two visits right now are scheduled for the 21st and the 28th of October as coordinated experiences. If you have, you know what the Parker experience is like. If you know families that are looking for a place for their children in the coming year, please let them know about these opportunities. Word of mouth is obviously very powerful for us as a marketing tool, and would love for you to continue to be ambassadors on behalf of the school. One of the other things that I've spoken with admissions about is really focusing on the transition points, the divisional transition points, 5 to 6 and 8 to 9, as really areas of emphasis, so that we make sure that we are communicating as clearly as possible what what the kind of transition from lower to middle or middle to upper is like, and understand the opportunities that are there. So look for those if you are parents in either any of those transition points, or you hear from parents that are transition points. We want to make sure that they get the attention that they need. If they're looking at other schools, there's certainly lots of outreach to them. So we want to make sure that that we're providing the right information for them as well. So, Jolene, the conferences should be released this afternoon to sign up for those times. There'll be 15-minute slots on Thursday and Friday. And then again, based around video. Are we moving to a project-based school? I keep hearing that about this child-centered learning. So we've not made any decisions about being a project-based school. This summer, when we were working with, when I was working with, and there was working with a task force on kind of remote learning preparedness. One of the things that the curriculum committee talked about was, how can we be more learner-centered or student-centered? And so we're exploring exactly how we do that. Our professional learning this last week was, one of the things was about grading equity. The reality is we do lots of projects. We are, as a school that has a really strong arts program, there's lots of projects that happen there. Lots of projects that happen in the lower school, in classrooms. But we have not, we've not made a decision or declared that we would be anything different than we are right now. I said to our faculty that there are lots of really interesting conversations going on in education at this moment, and we should be part of those conversations. We should participate in those conversations. COVID is not going away rapidly. It's going to change education pretty significantly for a while, and we need to understand how we can remain prepared to educate our students and provide the best learning opportunity we can. So I hope that that's at least somewhat clarifying. We want to remain relevant, and we want to make sure that our students are prepared for whatever comes next. My commitment to our faculty is to continue to invest in them in professional learning, and because I think that that's important. I want, as we think about being a learner-centered community, every one of us who are here are learners in a different way. And so my investment in faculty help our students in their learning. So we'll continue to have, I think, robust conversations about what teaching and learning means.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So for new business, we have a couple fun things, a couple fun ideas. One of the moms over here, actually, she's here. Hi, Sarah. She had a really great idea. She had a painting party online with her daughter. And she thought it might be a great idea to possibly offer like a paint and snack package for our families, and we can charge them a certain amount of money and, you know, get like a little bag of the canvas and the paints, and possibly ask maybe Kathy or Miss Culligan to teach us. And we can provide either, it could be like for a family thing, you know, like I have two kids, and well, two kids that are able to paint, one not quite. And we could do like an hour of painting and snacking together online. So that was a really fun idea. So thank you, Sarah. And Carrie Ann, would you like to talk about your fun ideas that you have?
Yes, but before that, I'm doing the roll call, and may I get the the first and last name of the cook, Ohana. Sorry.
It's Tim and Stephanie.
Okay, Tim and Stephanie.
Sorry about that.
No worries. And Sylvia's iPad as well.
Oops, can you hear me? It's Sylvia Cheskes, and my daughter's last name is Poger, P as in Paul, O-G-E-R. Sorry about that.
No problem. And I think Georgia is Beth's. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we were, some of us in the board were talking about activities for Halloween, and I know that, you know, as everybody's been discussing that we can't be, you know, it's not normal. So we were wondering if we could do a PTSO, where PTSO would put out a costume contest. You would take a picture of your costume and put it in, email it to PTSO, and we would post the pictures on Facebook. I think PTSO has their own Facebook. And then as prizes, we were wondering if we could use the logo wear. So if that's possible, and if you guys are interested in doing that, you know, as a school-wide thing to do.
That sounds fun.
Okay, okay. And then the other thing that we wanted to talk about is, and I know that Jolene, you had brought this up last year about faculty birthdays, and I know you're doing teacher appreciation right now. So, you know, I was working with Maile at the logo wear store, and there's so many, a lot of shirts and logo wear that's available. So I was wondering, would we be able to, like, for a faculty birthday, give them a Parker School t-shirt? And maybe Brian knows this, and Tina, because you guys been here longer than me, but there's a lot of parade shirts there, and I know they don't belong to PTSO, and Mahelani Thompson used to handle that. Is that their budget?
Yes, the parade shirts would be under the school's budget.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So maybe we can talk to Maile about that and figure something out. It's just see what we can work out.
So one of the things I had requested was to get a list of teacher birthdays. I didn't need the whole date of birth, just day and month. And so I asked for that. I asked for allergy issues or dietary restrictions. And then I requested a favorite color and a favorite snack or candy. I don't know what's happened to that. Originally, I was told to send that to Naomi, and Brian, I think, had it at one point. And then I was told that that couldn't be sent directly back to me, that information. It had to go through PTSO. And then they had to talk to Jerry about whether or not we could even request that information. So I don't know where that's at. I think it's ridiculous at this point in October that we haven't done anything for teacher birthdays. I think that's really crappy. So that's just my personal opinion as somebody who's done PTSO for other schools previously, and we've always been able to get that information. So I'm not sure where that's at or how that needs to work, but if it's not FBI regulated.
I think a way of solving that would be to put together like a survey monkey survey, which then we could solicit faculty and staff who want to participate, and they can fill it out and we can receive it. That way we're not requesting private information from the school that they may not want released. It's kind of an opt-in. So I would see that as being a pretty quick and easy way. Set up a survey monkey or a Google form that collects the information. We can send that out to faculty and staff. Those that want to participate can respond, and then we would have that information.
I guess my thought on that is it's their birthday. I mean, we can certainly do that, but I would also not want it to be something where, well, how come everybody's getting a Starbucks card? How come I didn't get that? You know, somebody misses the survey or doesn't understand what the survey is about. I mean, I don't know. It just seems very, I don't know, just seems very strange to me. So I can certainly put together a Survey Monkey and send it to whoever and have them disseminate that information out. I don't know, this is a really sticky point for me. When I was asked to do teacher appreciation, I was excited about that idea because we had some of these ideas last year as well. And, you know, for an organization that's really trying to appreciate what they're doing and make them feel good about having to teach, especially in this environment, you know, I really feel like that's something that should be just across the board. We should be able to provide that for all of the teachers and not just arbitrarily do it based on some survey. So I don't know. I think that unfortunately, I think, you know, given the circumstances, I think everybody needs a little pick me up. I know for my own child personally, you know, we did something for each of her teachers already, just to let them know that they're doing a good job. And I think, you know, I see this comment about Jehovah's Witness. You know, just acknowledging somebody even on a day doesn't have to be a gift. So anyway, it's just a thought.
Perhaps we don't tie it to their birthday, and then we don't need to know any information.
Like an anniversary of when they started.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or because
I like
it's
that.
Tuesday, or, you know, if you're showing appreciation, you can show appreciation. It doesn't have to be tied to a specific calendar day. It's the beginning of second quarter or something, you know, something like that.
But Jolene, let's see what information we can get, and maybe the better way to address your concerns about people missing an email is that they opt out, or we give them the opportunity to opt out if they don't want to be recognized. I mean, we're going to have to survey them. I can't go down the list of faculty and tell you what their favorite color is, so we'll have to collect that information in some way.
Well, and that was just a suggestion. I mean, you know, it'd be simple to buy a box of Snickers bars, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that they could have in their little mailbox that, like, hey, have a great day, you know? But if you don't, again, know that somebody's allergic to peanuts, makes it kind of hard to buy everybody Snickers bars. So, you know, it was just trying to be mindful of allergies and those kinds of things. But, you know, maybe we just do something entirely different.
The t-shirt logo wear might work in some cases, but okay. And the other thing that I wanted to ask is, how are you guys feeling about a virtual bingo game with all the kids? Is that, I've been looking it up and everything, and but I don't know if everybody's burned out with Zoom and what have you, but I just wanted to put it in the Calabash Bowl, and if anybody has any ideas. I know Melinda's doing the trivia, but just have our kids do something, you know, like a virtual bingo. That might be an idea.
I'm actually going to do a virtual bingo with my Girl Scout troop next week, so I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay, that sounds good.
I did one for Nora's birthday during COVID, and they're old enough, they ran it themselves. I think it turned out okay, you know, so I think it works.
So maybe we could use some logo wear as some prizes, you know. I know
one thing we did.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, we made it personal. So instead of, you know, we included their inside jokes, and I don't know, we even had a Parker Bowl on there. I don't know, just some things that I think that made them giggle more about the whole process. But of course, they're 7th grade girls, so that's what they like to do.
Well, it is closing time. It is 10:30, so unfortunately we have to close our meeting. But quickly, does anybody else have anything to add at the very end?
I think those are all great ideas for PTSO to explore.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for attending. It's so good to see new and old faces. And thank you so much for the faculty and staff and all the parents and everything. So thank you so much for being here. I love Parker very, very much. And I love being part of PTSO. So thank you for letting me step into this role. And have a great day.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Bye, guys.